You're listening to
They're gonna call it a hard foul. They're gonna call it a hard foul.
offering in-depth analysis on all things Boston Celtics with your hosts, Jim and Mike Quigley.
Mike, I have 5 questions. Are you ready for them?
No, but let's go.
On the current Celtics roster, which player would you most want to hang out with?
Luke Cornett.
All right, that's a good answer. How come?
Because I feel like he's dumb enough to just get shit-faced at the bar.
Yeah, his celebrations on the bench are unbelievable. You know, when there's a great dunk and he just jumps off the bench. He looks like just a running dad joke. You know, and I'm kind of with you. It would be him with Derek White. Derek White's kind of got that reserved good guy attitude, but then you saw him at the University of Colorado opening day game this year, and he was kind of going crazy. So he has like that kind of get a few beers in me, and I'll go nuts. So it'd be one of those two guys. But Cornette looks like just an absolute riot. So the Celtics, you know, we're gonna probably do a trade deadline show, or couple trade shows. Do the Celtics make any trade in your mind that's going to be worth, spending much time on, I guess?
Yes, they're going to trade for Nick Richards from the Charlotte Hornets. He's under contract for 2 more years at $5 million a year to be a solid backup center. And since he started with Mark Williams going down, he's had a bunch of double-doubles. And where he's 27 years old, I don't think the Hornets, as a rebuilding team, have him in their plans. And he's kind of like the type of move that would make sense for the Celtics, a backup center that you could have for several years who's solid. I think that's the guy.
That's the type of move to make, right? It's the one that's beyond this year, because I think if you're going to go further into the tax and use that trade exception, it has to be something beyond that, beyond just kind of roster fodder, which is, with the way the rotation's set. Unless they can pull off a move like that, and I don't know what it would take to get a young center under a good contract. I don't know how much you have to pay. I'm going to go no, and I think my prediction is I think you're going to see Blake Griffin back on the Celtics around the All-Star break. As your extra big body, someone that you can throw out maybe for a couple minutes against Giannis or Embiid, to get a couple charges, hit a couple corner threes to draw them out, maybe give Al the night off on back-to-backs. That's a guy I think you're going to see come back. Biggest weakness with the Celtics, outside of the obvious that, injuries, which you could say about any team. But what is their Achilles heel, so to speak, on the floor?
Their history. Their history of losing focus, losing games at home in the postseason, being out, mental toughness by Miami, or just toughness in general by Miami. They have to overcome, even though this regular season they've shown it, they have to overcome that history this postseason. That's going to be the moment that they have a bad game in the postseason, where they blow a lead at home, and it will happen. It happens to all good teams, and everybody will be talking about it.
Yeah,
and it'll be how you guys going to respond. Yeah. So I think that's their biggest Achilles heel.
I go back to something you talked about in a previous pod, and I've been thinking a lot about it, is, good guards seem to really get off against them, whether it's, and that's not unique. They do it against a lot of teams, obviously, but Halliburton, Dame, I think you're going to see it tonight with SGA. They kind of do extreme drop coverage with Porzingis, which makes a lot of sense. There was a huge focus not to give up the corner three, which makes a lot of sense. But in a 7-game series, teams should be able to scheme up against the Celtics if they have playmakers like this, like a Tyrese Maxey or a Halliburton or Dame Lillard, that should get those guys to go off. And how the Celtics are going to react to that is going to be pivotal to their success in the postseason. This game is fine for the regular season. Interesting to see how it will work come postseason time. And it's something, you brought up, you caught early on this season, and it's something that's really going to be a watching. Not so much now, but once the games really matter in April and May.